one of my favorite costumes that I ever made was a sketch that Steve Martin had written. It was called The Sit-Down Suit, and it was on the Sonny and Cher show. And he wrote this sketch. Incidentally, on that show, they never wrote a sketch for a specific guest. They would write the sketch, and whoever came in did the sketch. So quite often it was not quite suited to him, but they did it. But he wrote this thing called The Sit-Down Suit, and it was a week that Tony Curtis was on. And the premise of the sketch was that Tony Curtis is sitting on a park bench, and Sonny comes up to him and said, "You know, your clothes always look so incredible. You're a real fashion plate." And Tony Curtis said, "Well, everything is designed for what I'm doing. This happens to be my sit-down suit." And he said, "You know, it's done so that every crease falls in the right place." And they have a little, maybe a minute discussion about his clothes, and Sonny walks up, and then Tony gets up to walk out. And when he gets up, of course, the sleeves fall down and they're a foot longer. The pants crotch falls down to his knees, and this whole suit has a whole different look. And it was quite an engineering feat to come up with it, but it worked. And we only did it on one take. And that's always been one of my favorite costumes. And it was specifically done because of what Steve Martin had written. I have a great memory of Jean Stapleton. I was at this Tuesday night fitting, and Jean Stapleton was to bring in her own outfit to be introduced in. And my assistant, Norman Salling, called me and he said, "I have Jean Stapleton's outfit here. Would you like to know what it looks like?" And I said, "Sure." And Norman was always a great comic, always putting me on. He said, "Well, it's a pair of pink hot pants with a little short blouse and a pair of high silver boots." And I remember screaming, "Oh, Norman, can't you ever be serious?" And I slammed the phone down on him. And then when I finished fitting Cher, I ran over to CBS, and there hanging on the door was this outfit, just as he described it, that Jean Stapleton from All in the Family had brought in to wear for her introduction. And I had to delicately try to explain to Jean that I didn't think it was quite appropriate. And she said, "Well, I want to change my image when I come onto a show like this." And I said, "Nevertheless, I think pink hot pants and high silver boots may be going a little too far." But she was very gracious, and we ended up doing a gown for her. I loved designing for Chastity. I always got to make a little dress for Chastity. I did get a few letters about how I dressed Chastity, that I made her too adult, because I always did a small version of Cher or Sonny. Quite often, Chastity loved to dress up in Sonny's suits. If I had a plaid suit on Sonny, sometimes I would make a little plaid suit for Chastity. And I would get letters that maybe I had made her not look like a little child anymore, that I had made her a little too adult. But she loved getting dressed up in those clothes. She had a good time doing it. She would always get a little camera shy just before she went on, but Sonny was able to joke with her, and then she would went on, and she would be cute and adorable, as we all remember.